Hello everyone, my name is Elijah, and today I would like to go ahead and demonstrate to you guys how to set up an EKS cluster using Terraform in AWS, and also configure it using Helm. Now, this would be a multi-step process, so please, if you are new to any of those softwares, whether it be Terraform or anything like that, please be sure that you take some notes, and I will be sure to um, explain everything as I'm going through with it. So, just for starters, I'm gonna go ahead. I already have the Terraform files. This is more so if you are new, and also there will be steps for you to follow along. Um, so just make sure you're paying attention as I'm talking about it, and then afterwards you can go ahead and go through it yourself. So the first steps that I would want to go through is here. So I will go ahead and drag this folder onto my desktop. This folder contains all the TF files for Terraform, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what a lot of these look like. So we have the provider files, routes, subnets, VPC, nodes, NAT, Internet Gateway, the IAM, OIDC, the EKS cluster, and then the drivers for CSI. So, if you have no idea what any of this is, I'll go ahead and hop into it in detail, right? Let's go ahead and get started. Now, if you're following along with me and following the README, you would see that you need to install a couple different softwares first. There's Terraform, AWS CLI, kubectl, and Helm, right? So, in order to install these, go ahead and open PowerShell and run it as an administrator. Okay, so in order to install these softwares, you would first need to install Chocolatey. So to do that, go ahead and run this command. In this case, I've already installed Chocolatey before, so I would just need to run choco upgrade choco upgrade Chocolatey. Now it's going to run the upgrade. Press Y for yes, and it's going to run whatever it needs to run. And here it is completed. Now that that's complete, you can go ahead and run your command for installing Terraform, choco install Terraform. And in this case, it is also already installed. Um, so we will go ahead and clear and move on to the next step. In this next step, I am going to install AWS CLI and just make sure that is installed. Actually, I honestly feel like I already have it installed, but just to demonstrate it anyway, I'm going to install it again. Okay, if you just go to the Google website, there's a link here. you go on Google and search up AWS CLI, there will be a link here to install AWS CLI. You can just go ahead and click this link and have it installed. In this case, I already have it installed, but I'm going to proceed to this anyway. Okay. I'm not sure what the issue is. It was something about NVIDIA share or something like that. Um, but we're gonna skip that step. And then what we'll do next is we're going to configure. Actually, we're gonna install a couple other things here. So next we need to install Helm, right? And Helm is just a Kubernetes management software. It essentially helps you define, install, and upgrade the most complex Kubernetes applications. And to install using Chocolatey, all you'll need to do is run the command choco install Kubernetes-helm. Go ahead and run this, and it will install everything here. You just go ahead and press Y for yes. And as you can see, it has been installed. And then for the last and final step, we're going to go ahead and install kubectl, and you can go ahead and use the curl command and just copy and paste it here. Okay, now that that is complete, we can go ahead and clear our thing there, and let's go ahead and move on to our first initial steps. So the first thing we're going to do is run aws configure hyphen profile jamf user. Now this username could be anything, but in this case, oh, I'm sorry, it's hyphen hyphen profile, two hyphens. And we're going to use the AWS access key from here. Actually, um, I'm not even sure which access key I have for what user, but we're going to go into IAM and check our users here. So we have Jamf user here, and we're just going to create another access key for it. CLI, I understand and want to create an access key, and we're just going to copy and paste the access key here. So the access ID here, and then this secret access key right here. Okay. Default region name, we're going to do US East 1. Default format, we're going to leave that regular. And from there, we should be good. Now that AWS is configured, we can go ahead and start working on running our TF files. So if you have a look at a documentation, you would see that each TF file serves a different purpose. In this case, it doesn't necessarily matter because we're all in essentially the same kind of environment here. So give me 1 second. Let me see if I can change directory. Okay. So here I'm going to navigate to the actual file that has all of our TF files, which is on my desktop, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cd there, and I'm just going to tab because it's easier from here. We're going to go to users, then we're going to change directory to my user, and we're going to change directory to desktop. I just passed it. Desktop, and then we're going to change directory into WordPress. So if I list this out, you can see inside there are all the TF files that we created for this step here. So once we navigate to this location, because all of the Terraform files are already created, all we will need to run is Terraform init. This will initialize the Terraform files that are in this folder. And as you can see, it has successfully been initialized. You may now begin working with Terraform. So after we run this, we can go ahead and run Terraform apply. What this will do, it will take all of the files that we have in this folder and essentially show you what it plans on creating, right? So you don't actually see all this information in the, well, if you follow um, the TF files that I have attached, um, essentially this is what all that code is for, right? So it creates uh, everything as far as like a whole entire environment, the EKS clusters, a private subnet, a public subnet, um, the auto scaling config, and a couple other things here listed that you can look more into detail um, in the actual README file, right? Along with the other steps. So after you run Terraform apply, you have to type yes, and it would go ahead and create all of these files here. As you can see, it is starting the creation process for all of these infrastructure that you set. So we're going to let it create, and we're going to come back once it's completed. It'll take probably around 15 minutes, I would say, just around that, to have it all completed. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so, and it looks like the apply is now created or completed. So let's go ahead and get into our AWS environment. If I remember which window that is, I have a ton open right now. Uh, okay, I guess I'll just open a new one. Oh my goodness. My eye itches really bad because I touched something hot and then I touched my eye, so I'm burning. I'm in pain right now. But we'll go ahead and go to EKS service page, and it will now show Initially it was creating, now it is active, right? A lot of these will probably not show because I am in uh, the root admin console account. But if I were to sign into Jamf user, I would be able to see a lot more details about this. Now, um, we can go ahead and go into a lot more detail as far as what was created. Um, but you guys already know majority of the stuff created was like this here. Um, I'm pretty sure there's no tag that I had attached to some of these. I really attach a tag to it, but if you were to look through the files here, let's take subnets for instance, you would see what we named them, right? So private US East 1A, um, private US East 1B, public US East 1A, and then public US East 1B. So these are both placed in two separate availability zones for high availability. Let me see here. The VPC, what should the VPC be named? The VPC should be named main, right? I believe I have two main VPCs from what it looked like. Um, let's see which one was the one that was created today. Okay, I don't believe it's this one. So in order to install WordPress, from the same folder, you can go ahead and run Helm repo, add WordPress repo. What this does is it will add the repo that has all the information needed for WordPress. So go ahead and run this. And as you can see, it is added to our repository. Now we can go ahead and update our kubeconfig uh, file. Essentially, all this does is it connects us to our EKS cluster, right? So profile, we'll just do Jamf user. I'm pretty sure we can put that here. All right. And now that we're connected to our kube, we can do something like kube ctl list name spaces. Oh, get namespaces. I apologize. Right, and then since that worked, we know that we are connected to our EKS cluster properly, right? So now go ahead and run the following command here. And what this is doing is setting a password for WordPress, right? So install WordPress, WordPress repo, set WordPress password to -password, right? So now our our Helm chart is being deployed, and it is setting up the WordPress web page. And then once it is completed, you can go ahead and sign in to the WordPress server. It'll give you the link and everything needed for that. But right now, if we wanna watch the process here, so we're gonna type in kubectl get name, and this is the external IP. It looks like it already has been set up. The load balancer is already set up. So let's see if we can get connected. Open a new tab here and just put in this. Okay, it looks like it's not up yet. It's not up yet. But once it is up, um, you can go ahead and then name through that link. You will get connected through that link. So we're just going to wait, give it another maybe 5 minutes, and then check back again. So now that our web page is open, we can just go ahead and type /admin here to reach our admin page. The user is going to be user, and the password is going to be password because that is what we set as our username and password. And yeah, that's essentially it. There is actually a couple other steps that you can follow to limit your namespace and how much resources they're allowed to have. But again, that can be all seen on technique.io. Also, just a explanation of all the .tf files and also a copy of each of the TF files so that you can go ahead and do this yourself. In the cleanup process of this project here, please make sure you run Terraform destroy, and what that will do, it'll tear down everything that you had created here. So hit yes, and it will go ahead and start deleting all of the infrastructure that you have created. If there's anything else, please feel free to hit me up. My email is elijah@technique.io. And also, you can just go ahead and drop a comment here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope it was informative.